Is real estate going to crash again? Why haven't housing prices fell yet? Is Grant Cardone a scam? Can I get into real estate with no money down? Welcome back. So in today's episode, I'm going to be answering some of real estate's most popular questions from the internet. Number one, is real estate going to crash again from coronavirus? So the short answer is no. I'm going to assume this question's asking about the housing market. So I'm guessing there's going to be some type of market correction. Prices haven't fallen yet, mostly across the board, because you haven't been able to process evictions and foreclose on houses. Even when that does go back into effect, which it's starting to open back up now in most states. I mean, a typical foreclosure process, you got to be in default. It takes like 3 to 4 months plus. It takes almost 11, 12 months, pretty much a year for a foreclosure to actually take place. So let's say the housing market was crashing right now, you wouldn't hear about it and see the effects of it for a year. Just like in 2008, the housing market really didn't bottom out and crash till about 2011. Number two, why haven't housing prices fell yet? I kind of answered that question. It's going to take about 8 months to a year for the housing prices to actually go down. There's a lot of people that are delinquent on their mortgages, but evictions can't start because of the coronavirus bills. I don't know the exact names of it, but yeah, give it like 8 months to a year and you're probably going to see some type of dip in prices. Question number three, is commercial real estate crashing? So it's kind of a dumb question, especially when it comes to commercial. Like, all real estate is different and unique. For example, I work in mobile home parks and apartments. Someone who works in hotels would have a very different answer right now. Someone who works in retail would have a very different answer right now. Someone in industrial have a very different answer. You can't really just umbrella it all together and say commercial real estate is crashing, because mobile home parks are doing just about as good as ever. Apartments are doing close to as good as ever. And then hotels struggling. But then hotels that converted to apartments might be doing all right now. So it's a little all over the board. I would just say hotels and retail probably aren't looking the best right now. Question number three, should you buy a house? Depends what you're doing. If you're working a regular W-2 job and you're not trying to grow a business and you're not very entrepreneurial and you're happy where you're at, yep, buy a house. If you have a business to grow that your capital will do better reinvesting into your business, that's probably a better choice than buying a house. You might as well just rent, because the whole idea is buying a house ties up your capital and you need to have some form of reserves in case something goes wrong with the house, like repairs. Just depends how liquid you need to be. Question number five, should I use an agent when buying a house? Definitely. So I don't work in residential, but at least the way that commissions work in residential, one, if you're a buyer, you don't need to pay the agent. The commission's already agreed upon. Let's say it's a 5 or 6% commission fee. That's typically agreed upon from the listing agent's perspective, from the seller paying that. And then it's split 6%, 3 and 3 for each the buyer and seller's agent. If you don't use a buyer's agent, you're not saving 3% on the house. It's just the entire 6% goes to the listing agent. So coming from a buyer's perspective, it literally makes 0 sense to not use an agent because it's free. Question number six, is now a good time to buy a house? I would say if you're not a residential investor who could find off-market deals at pretty big discounts, and you don't have the experience, money, wherewithal, and contractors to flip that house, probably not a good idea. If you're just gonna buy it to stay in the house and hold it forever, really doesn't matter when you buy it. You're gonna stay in the house. You're gonna pay down that mortgage, gain your equity, and the housing market's gonna eventually raise because the US isn't tanking and inflation is always gonna be a thing. So your housing prices are gonna go up by default from inflation, assuming your local economy doesn't just totally crash. Question number seven, what is the best type of real estate to buy? Ooh, that's a big question. Well, I'm going to go with, this is assuming investing, I'm gonna go with institutional size mobile home parks or apartments. Reason being, housing is always needed. People always need a place to live. The reason why I say mobile home parks, one, it's performing better than all the other asset types through coronavirus, and two, there's a huge lack of affordable housing. So one thing that's going on right now in America, I'm sure if you live in not even a major city, but you live in a good sized city like Orlando where I am, you realize shit's pretty expensive. Housing prices are going up like that in desirable areas, not bad areas, desirable areas. Meanwhile, wages are going like that. So it's getting harder and harder to afford things in nice areas. This creates a shortage of affordable housing, leaving infinite demand for a mobile home park, assuming it's a good community. Question number 8, how much money do I need to buy a house? Simple, basic, spitball number, 8 to 10%. So you're gonna have 3% for a down payment, assuming you're gonna live in it, and it's less than, I think it's like 450,000 or maybe 580,000, something like that. There's a limit for the 3% down type stuff, like FHA loans, 3.5%, but 3.5%, somewhere in that for the down payment. Closing costs, probably gonna be another 3 to 4%. And then you're gonna wanna have some form of money just on the side in case you have to do any major repairs for the house. So I'd say another couple percent just for that. So somewhere around 8 to 10%. Then, buying a house in creative ways with seller's financing, you could, in theory, go 0% down Not going to happen unless that house is a piece of shit. There is a lot of seller financing deals that go down for 5% down, minimal closing costs up, but still somewhere between 8 and 10%. Question number 9, is Grant Cardone a scam? That is a very popular one. So as you know, Grant Cardone has Cardone Capital. That is a real estate syndication that he owns that specializes in large multifamily deals. Long story short, not a scam. He's a pretty standard structure. It's somewhere between 6 and 8% preferred return, 65-35 split on the equity, and then he takes like his 1% fee for the acquisition, 1% management fee, 1% someone else. His fees are a little high. His equity split and returns aren't the best compared to other standard, typical large-scale real estate syndicators, but he's also a really good marketer. But long story short, not a scam. Could he be over-leveraged? I don't know about that. I'd say it's more on the side that he's overpaying for properties, but that could be said about pretty much all of the large-scale apartment investors, especially here in Florida. If you have like a 400 or 500 unit deal, probably like Class C, Class B apartment, they're trading 4% cap rates and stuff, 3% cap rates for institutional size deal. It's pretty crazy the prices people are paying. That's also why a lot of people in apartments are moving over to manufactured housing, because there's a little less competition, so the cap rates are still a little higher. Can I get into real estate with no money down? You have all these gurus on the internet selling you courses like get into real estate with no money down, just find the deal and you could find the investors. That's kind of bullshit. I'll lay out a good situation for all the house flippers and wholesalers out there. They say wholesale deals and then keep the best ones for yourself and then go raise the money. If you don't know what you're doing and you have no experience in real estate, you find a good deal and you approach me as an investor saying you'd like me to partner with you. If you don't know what you're doing and I know how to research properties, do all this already, why would I not just go around you and take it from you? That's first scenario. Second scenario is, why would I put up my money for you to invest in this property when you have zero experience? Now, one way you could get around that, have a job in property management, and then when you eventually go to that, people know you have experience in managing a property. Maybe you're a contractor, you're something that works in the real estate industry, then it's kind of possible, but still, it's a seller financing deal. They're gonna wanna see that you have reserves to actually do repairs on the house. 2, if you're gonna approach some investors to partner with you, they're gonna wanna see that you have skin in the game and have at least some money. So realistically, no, you cannot get into real estate with no money down. Everyone stop believing the bullshit. Just get a job, save up some money, then get into real estate then. And that's it. That is 10 popular questions of real estate from the internet. Hope you guys like this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. Peace.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars.